Welcome to Sharp Football Analysis. Today, I'll be drafting a best ball team over at DraftKings with the one, the only Rich Rebar. So you want to see that, make sure you stick around. Welcome to Sharp Football Analysis. I am Raymond Summerlin, and today we'll be doing our first draft of the year over at DraftKings. Had not done one on camera yet at DraftKings. Obviously, had done a few behind the scenes, but not on camera over at DraftKings. Obviously, if I'm doing a draft, there's only one person I'll be doing it with, and that is the one, the only, the Swami of Konami himself, Mr. Rich Rebar. How are we doing, my friend?
We're doing good, man. We're closing in here. It feels like we're rapidly approaching this season. We've got a full slate of preseason action this weekend. And if the NFL would like to turn injuries off this weekend, I think we would all greatly appreciate it.
Speaking of that, I should say at the top here that we're drafting this team on Thursday morning, mid-morning-ish. You've just informed me that my one true love, Chuba Hubbard, apparently has suffered an injury right before we started recording. But if an injury happens in one of those games and you're listening to this later and we talk about a player and don't mention those injuries, that's the reason why. We're from the past. We haven't seen that injury happen yet. But as a reminder, just as we go through this, throughout the rest of the month, all the way up to the weekend before week one, we're going to be doing one of these live drafts, seeing how ADP shifts over the month, looking at how things change when more, I guess, casual drafters get into these. I've already seen that happen in some of my drafts I've been doing at both Underdog and DraftKings. I've seen some interesting things. Bashal Tutin gets drafted a lot earlier than I expected him to by some of these people. And so, yeah, we get into, a lot of that going on. So make sure you hit subscribe wherever you find us, podcast, feed, or over on YouTube. We'll have one of these every single Friday the rest of the way through the offseason. So check that out. Also, you need to go check out the draft kit because Rich has released now all of his draft plans for every single position, how he is approaching quarterback, how he's approaching running back, wide receiver, and tight end. That's all part of the Fantasy Football Draft Kit. You can get that draft kit for $5 off using promo code KIT5. That's KIT, the number 5. However, I would say you should go and get the Fantasy Football Bundle, which also includes all of his in-season content. That's his worksheet. The first 17 weeks of the season, every single game, he has a preview for in-depth, all of the fantasy relevant players. It's helpful for fantasy. It's helpful for betting. We have a very good props record here at the site, and a lot of that is the work that Rich is doing. You can get all of that in the Fantasy Football Bundle for $20 off using promo code BUNDLE20. That's word bundle 20. So make sure you go and do that. Before we get into the draft, I'm gonna hit enter here in a second, Rich. But this, like I said, is our first draft over at DraftKings this year. Obviously, the biggest difference between DraftKings and Underdog is half PPR versus PPR. We also have 2 more draft slots. So there are structural differences as well. There's different flows to these drafts as well. That's always the interesting thing every year. It seems like we have Underdog drafters and we have DraftKings drafters, and they don't mix as much. And so you do get interesting ADP differences between this. But if we're just thinking about kind of structurally and what you've seen so far this year, how does your approach change at DraftKings, if it does at all, versus what we do over at Underdog?
You said that the full PPR still makes a difference. I mean, for as bad as wide receivers even ran last year, there still was a viable amount of wide receivers in full PPR formats that we say like fill the flex, or guys that occupy top spots. They still made up 5 of the top 10 scorers that would be considered, flex spots. They still were, 10 of the top 20. So it's like you still get that value bump from these guys. They weren't like the top 5 though. Like we didn't have like, anyone competing with, Bijan and Christian McCaffrey up top, but you still get a little bit of that juice for full PPR. It's the same thing when we move over to FFPC and that tight end premium. Like you've got to account for just the weight that it does add to these players. And then you talk about the 2 extra rounds. You get a couple more fun picks here. Those dart throws that we love in these best ball drafts. Remember last year at this time we were drafting a lot of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt like at this time, and like obviously he didn't smash, but yeah, Kyle Monangai was one of your favorites, and like obviously those guys didn't like win things on their own, but they ended up being a lot more valuable than their ADPs. And then when you have the 2 extra rounds, you can make some more of those fun picks. So we get to kind of show our cards a little bit in these drafts. No Jermaine Burton this year.
No, I will be pushing for more Dontayvion Wicks. I had so much Dontayvion Wicks last year, and I think I'm going to be in the same boat again this year. So, what are you going to do? It is interesting. We are in a draft. We got in pretty quick. Over here, we're going to be pick 3 again, picking near the top, which is where we want to be, but it's not one of the first 2 picks, which actually raises an interesting question before the draft even starts. I read your how to draft running backs, which again, that's part of the bundle 20, kit 5, all of that. Get those draft kit and make sure you're reading everything that Rich has to offer. And you made a strong case for Christian McCaffrey as the 3rd pick. And so I feel like we have to live up to kind of what we said in there. Is that what you want to do?
Oh, we don't have to. I mean, I specifically called out that in non-best ball, like in best ball, you don't have to do it because of the risk versus reward, because you don't have to, set a lineup with your running backs, in these leagues, which is a significant difference in terms of your managed leagues. Like when we're not, bypassing running backs. So like the big thesis though of why I moved CMC from 3 to 5, I did a podcast at Warren on it, was just basically that the way that the meta has shifted this year is the RB1 tier is completely gone now by the time you're back up if you take Chase or Nakua in your managed leagues, and you're really kind of leaning on like guys like Breece Hall and Jeremiah Love as your RB1. And that's really difficult, I believe, in managed format. So it's still kind of a free square here, what we want to do, because it is best ball. We get a little more luxury. So if you want to take him and want to workshop that more, that's fine.
I'm really interested in seeing what the team.
Also, if anyone wants to see what this looks like, I'm in an industry managed league right now where I had pick 3, and I also practiced what I preach and took him, and that draft started. We're in round 6 right now with a lot of your favorites, probably some more of your favorites than me, guys like JJ and Harmon, Bloom, and Mike Clay. But I started Christian McCaffrey, and again, the RB 13 running backs were gone by the time I came back up. I ended up taking the next 3 picks: Drake London, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, and then I got Kyron Williams in the 5th round. So this is like this in action of what you see, because we are seeing that RB1 tier getting purged now by the time you get to the 2-3 turn.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get Derrick Henry or Achane sometimes falls because of obviously Miami concerns. I've seen Chase Brown fall randomly a few times, which that doesn't make any sense to me. But I like this idea from you, because I like, and I know you're really into, starting with 2 running backs. And if I'm picking at the back end of the first round, that's obviously what I'm doing as well. But if I'm picking at the front, I do really like that range of wide receivers that we find in the area that we'll be picking here now coming back around. Like I'm really into that range of wide receivers. It also opens up the opportunity to take, if you really want to take Bowers here, which I know, you're not super high on taking those early tight ends, but if you want to do that, you can do that as well. And I think it opens up a lot of opportunity to either catch falling value with one of the running backs, if one of the running backs happens to fall, or to get one of those wide receivers that are in that position that I really like. And so I like the idea, but obviously
we know it comes with inherent risk. Like you and I did a whole show on why McCaffrey was in a whole tier of his own in tiers. Like there was, because of what he represents from a risk reward, stance. So we don't have to like go fully into that, but I've been drafting lots of teams this summer, and I kept finding myself when I was picking 3 and 4 and taking Chase Nakua, I was almost being drawn to go, not fully 0 RB, but wide receiver heavy in an approach. And I found that, I didn't really love those teams. They could, in hindsight, end up being good teams. We'll see. But I felt like you had more flexibility going this route. You just had more nuance in terms of taking, the wide receivers being stronger here in the next subsequent 2 turns that we have at 2-3 and then 4-5, and just giving you a lot more freedom to move around the board than you were kind of being steered towards taking wide receiver heavy teams. So yeah, it's a lot of workshop, a lot of trial and error, and like I tried to make the case of why I did that, and it did a whole show with Warren on it.
So we have, just for those who are just listening, if you're on YouTube, you can see the draft board on the screen right now. But if you're just listening, kind of reset. After we took McCaffrey, the 4 receivers you expect to go went. And then we started this this running back run. We did get Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb at the back end, and then running backs back around. So we've had 6 running backs go since we selected. Those are Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Ashton Genty, Chase Brown, Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker, and now just Marion Hampton went, and Devin Achane went. I assume Derrick Henry will be going very soon. Although this is PPR, we might see him fall more. I'm interested. Brock Bowers went there. That's a little bit early, maybe than what we've been seeing, or at least what I've been seeing. But it's not certainly
that
not out of
gamer
the
just
realm.
could outright like Brock Bowers, and
Yeah.
they know that they have no shot at getting him.
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
not coming back for sure. Now, some of my receivers are coming off that I like, but like I said, this does leave up the opportunity. If Derrick Henry falls, then you do get one of those tier one. It's not my favorite, especially in PPR, but since Derrick Henry just went, so it doesn't matter. So we have Nabers here. We have Rice, Pickens, Collins. I would take Nabers here, and then maybe hope to get Smith coming back around. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm good with that. And then we have a lot of freedom for Nico Collins, DeVonta Smith, just whoever kind of comes back.
Yeah, no, I like Nabers here, and I mean, I just assume that price is going to keep going up as we get more and more good news about Nabers.
Yeah, I think this is about the range I think he's going to end up settling. Okay. Is this range?
Can I tell you that a guy I don't really ever think about clicking in this part of the draft, and I'm probably going to end up being wrong about it, is Chris Olave. Like, it's just a lot of the production last year made me think that with Tyson there, with what we hope Juwan Johnson's still going to be getting targets, Travis Etienne hopefully given a better running game. I just, if the volume's not quite at that level, are we overdrafting Olave? That's kind of my thought process here. I don't know. It just doesn't really occur to me. Look at that, Josh Allen at the end of the second round here, which is interesting. That's high still, even at DraftKings, right?
Yeah, I was looking at Nico Collins there, so we can still take DeVonta Smith.
Yeah, we'll just take DeVonta Smith. That's easy. Yeah, I really like a Nabers DeVonta Smith start. McCaffrey, Nabers, DeVonta Smith. Obviously a lot of risk with Nabers and McCaffrey, but we're playing a large field tournament. So
yeah, we're playing this is particularly large field tournaments. And like I told people, breaking down the McCaffrey thing, just circling back there for one final thought. The reason also McCaffrey being specific is he's the one guy at his apex that can kind of push the two guys at the top, right? Because we've talked ad nauseum, like this year feels so advantageous because these two guys, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, like where they at like this point of their careers as pass catchers, and then both of them losing a teammate that occupied like a tangible amount of opportunities and having that open up, just like these guys feel like just prime such smash picks. But McCaffrey outscored these guys by 50 points last year in this scoring sediment. So it's like he's he's like the one guy, if you get the run out, if you play to win, he's the one guy that can push these top two. So yeah, and then to circle back to your Olave thoughts, yeah, he was a guy when I wrote up the tiers, ended up kind of cooling a little bit on, obviously the Saints, they trailed for the most points in the NFL last year. They obviously drove a lot of the pass volume. And then a lot of his big peak stretches were with one of Rashid Shaheed or Devon Vele being out. And Jordan Tyson, I believe, is a better player than both those guys. No shade to Rashid Shaheed, who I think is a very good player too. But I think Tyson's going to be a target earner. Olave ended the season with 3 wide receiver 1 scoring weeks after Devon Vele's injury, and he only had 2 before that the entire season. And you're taking him right against that range of wide receiver 1s. I want a little more like consistent ceiling from my guys with those picks.
But that is why, like, there is this little run here of wide receivers that there's a lot of them I don't like. T. Higgins, I'm never going to know about. Rashee Rice, I'm not going to know about. I know you're high on Ladd McConkey, and I get it. Like, it all makes sense. But, like, there were some concerns about how often he was drawing targets last year, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. I am big on Zay Flowers this year. Can we just get Zay Flowers some touchdowns? Like, let's please just do that. That would be
probably won't happen, but
yeah, that would be elite. But yeah,
I mean, Breece Hall going at the 3-4 turn is pretty solid.
I had him starred as someone who might come back to us.
He usually doesn't, but
the one that I still have starred as might come back to us is Josh Jacobs. So we're hoping for the best on that one for sure.
Who's probably going to continue to fall now with the news that wasn't news from Adam Schefter.
Yes, exactly. That's why he's starred for sure. And I think that's another example of, like, if you go McCaffrey 3 and Jacobs continues to fall. Now, obviously, you're going to lock yourself into a very risky build with if Jacobs gets suspended or Christian McCaffrey gets hurt. But, like, that's kind of feasible. And if you told me before all of this Jacobs stuff started that I could have McCaffrey, Jacobs, and like 2 of the top 15 wide receivers, I'd feel pretty darn good about that. And so it's a really interesting kind of situation there.
Yeah, I mean, this is a large field tournament. Like, we're playing to win. Like, just trying to get through a managed league setting and, get through with the roster, like, is not the way to attack this at all.
The other interesting thing here could be Colston Loveland, who obviously we're higher on. I don't know if he's going to quite slip to there, but we think he's closer to Bowers and McBride. We both do. I agree with you on this. There he went. So that's that. I did the classic jinx, but we think he's closer to McBride and Bowers than the ADP gap suggests. So I think that's a really good pick for that gamer there at pick 6, getting Loveland where he did. It does seem like we'll see what happens here, but we might get Josh Jacobs. Also have David McGowan.
Yeah, we could probably even push Jacobs around the turn probably if we wanted.
The only concern I have,
I guess, we don't.
The only concern I have is that the other people who took Gibbs and Robinson also didn't take a running back next turn. And so I think that I like Jacobs a lot more than I like Tootin and David Montgomery. I like David Montgomery and Judkins and those kind of guys. So I would take Jacobs here.
That's
fine.
What do you think? Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. So we got Josh Jacobs. Now we're thinking about coming back around. Are you thinking running back again? Like if Montgomery comes back around, that's interesting.
We got Montgomery. We have Christian Watson. We have Luther Burden has still a little dip here for him usually. Who's going to be there? So this is a spot where Burden was going significantly in that range, like where Jalen Waddle was just drafted. Like that's kind of where he was going. So those guys are options too, as well.
We also got Jameson Williams and Devontae Adams. I'm obviously really high on Jameson Williams. I know opinions on that vary. We do have Tootin here. You had Tootin on your list of draftables. I think we might be a little bit over our skis on Tootin with some of the reports we're seeing through camp about his usage. But there went Burden. Burden went at the turn. But there are lots of options here. So who are you thinking is we're one pick away? There went Jameson Williams.
I would lean Christian Watson if he's the top player I have available.
Gotcha.
On my board. If you wanted to do Mike Evans and do a super fragile build like that,
well, I guess Christian Watson is also super fragile. But we did just draft Josh Jacobs, so I wonder if we should go that heavy on.
We can also set up a Purdy stack if we do Mike Evans as well.
Yeah, let's do Mike Evans if he's there. Let's do Mike Evans
because Purdy at ADP is a guy that's usually pretty feasible, and then we can set up something with Purdy.
Yeah, I like that. I know this isn't really fitting in though to your how many running backs you want through 5 rounds, right?
Well, remember that like we're managing best ball is a little bit different. Like we can throw guys that have you can throw a pocket of guys like a Jordan Mason, right? And never have to worry about getting him right. Whereas in your managed leagues, you're going to have to understand if Jordan Mason doesn't score a touchdown this week, I'm not scoring any points. Yeah. Whereas in this, you're just getting his touchdown games. There's a lot of ambiguous backfields here you can just throw at the wall and just kind of soak up.
As a reminder, we do have now 3 week 8 buys, so just something to keep in mind as we build out the second. We're
not worried about that yet.
Team. Not worried about it yet. It's just always something I like to keep in my mind as I go through these drafts. We have Montgomery went right after us, then Tootin went, then Judkins went. All of this makes perfect sense. It is. It's interesting just scrolling back up here a little bit for those of you who are watching. Watson went at 5'8", pick 56 there. I'm a big fan of this team that is being drafted out of the 8th spot with Taylor, Hampton, Scattaboo, Higgins, and Watson. But we have Josh Allen going at 24 overall, which again is earlier than what we normally see. Not that it's wrong, just that it's earlier than we normally see. And now we have this massive gap before Lamar Jackson just went, as I started talking about it, here at 5'10" at pick 58. So it's a massive, massive gap.
And I had that idea early on this summer I think Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs could be so advantageous that you almost want to draft with a little hubris of saying all right, well, what if I can get, I was using Bowers as an example when he was kind of getting this range and now he doesn't really, but I was like, if you did Bowers, Allen, and you just have the best players that, you just have the best onesies. But when I workshopped it, the teams I always felt like I was chasing 2 positions, and that's what happens when you do double early onesie, right? You're chasing 2 positions and you just feel behind at both.
Yeah, I still like the idea of Allen there. It's not, I don't know, I feel more comfortable chasing the later guys, and I guess I probably have too much confidence in chasing the later guys. But I do agree with you is that you are certainly going to end up weaker at the top of those positions than you want to be. And I know obviously how important the top of those positions are when we're thinking about that. So Purdy is definitely somebody we're targeting at quarterback. We haven't seen the quarterback run start. That is,
but in DraftKings particularly, they go in a big pocket.
Yeah.
Once the dominoes start to fall, it tends to be a little bit of an avalanche.
Yeah, it's something I was pointing it out. This is something we definitely want to keep a keep an eye on as we go through here. Jordan Tyson coming off the board here in the 6th round. Makes sense. That, it's kind of the thing is that if I'm a little lower on Olave than consensus, then I need to probably be a little higher on Tyson than consensus. And I think that's where I've arrived as well. So I really like picking Tyson this year.
Yeah, he's kind of in that firewall range of me where like the wide receivers I'm comfortable about, being like in my starting lineup, and then we get to some more sketchy guys after that, who I don't mind drafting, obviously, but they're the guys I want. Like Quentin Johnson I'm fine with, but like he's not a guy I typically want locked in as my wide receiver 3, right? Like I want to have him as like a luxury guy that I can throw in if I need a flex or need to chase some upside, or like I'm on a buy and a guy that offers upside, but he's not a guy I'm like really like thinking offers like weekly consistency or anything like that. I'm going to be like willing to just have him locked into a lineup.
What do you think about Jalen Hurts in this team? If we end up there with him, we've got DeVonta Smith. We can add in Goddard if you wanted to. We can add in Wicks, who like I'm going to keep pushing Wicks. I really like that pick. He's might be an interesting name for kind of where we're drafting here, with how the quarterbacks are falling.
Yeah, we're going to start to see a little bit. There's a chance if we don't take a quarterback, we can miss a big wave that happens. I think we're going to miss a big wave here. Marvin Harrison just went. Jalen Warren just went. I don't think we need to take one now, but coming back around, I think we're probably going to need to take one. So let's look at running backs. We got Jadarian Price. We've got Stevenson, Pollard. We've got Jonathan Brooks. Who we could take to really spite me. Jaden Daniels just went. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Brooks on the heels of the news, like this is probably the range where I think he'll end up going higher. Like I think he'll actually probably
you're going to take him ahead of Jadarian Price?
No, I would take Jadarian Price here. I would take Jadarian Price. I have him higher still.
Yeah, I think that's probably the play. The only wide receiver we do have Johnson here, but I think
we take Price. I think this is because we're at like a firewall at the position, and this is a good, no pun here. I'm not going to swerve into it, but this is a good cost for him.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a fair cost because I know like we both have our concerns, but I think in a best ball, this is bottom of 6th round is a very fair price.
Yeah, we're not. I would have many more concerns about getting him right in a weekly league than I do, because I think he's going to have big plays, right? In that he could have a very Kenneth Walker season, which in best ball you're going to be okay with, right? This stuff about Charbonnet and when Charbonnet's coming back, I don't know, man. I don't know with the Charbonnet stuff. We taking a quarterback here? We've got May, we've got Hurts, we've got Herbert.
Yeah, let's do Hurts, like you said. And then if we have like a big run here, we're still in position to land Purdy as QB2.
Yeah. And then we're probably set at quarterback. I know we have the extra couple rounds.
If it were to fall Hurts Purdy, then we would be.
Yeah. Because I mean, we do have the extra rounds here, but I don't think if you're at Hurts Purdy, I think you're feeling okay. Although, Purdy did miss all that time last year. It's not something that I'm that worried about moving forward for him, but if
we would have taken a position player, Josh Downs would have been my pick.
You'd taken Downs. Yeah, PPR. I agree with you. Yeah. I like Downs here. Would I take him over Chris Godwin is an interesting question. I think I would rather Godwin.
Yeah, I would at this point with having the build that we have, I would have shoot for more like the guy
upside.
In the ascending trajectory where we have a good amount of Chris Godwin types.
No, man, team old.
Yeah, we are booming here.
Team old forever, brother. Jonathan Brooks did just go. So yeah, we were right about kind of when we're gonna see him go. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to accept the Jonathan Brooks thing. It seems wild to me that everybody is this in on a player who hasn't really played in the NFL and has multiple serious injuries. But
well, I don't think this in. I think the 6th, 7th round is palatable.
You're taking him ahead of the number one back on his team.
No.
That's the part that's confusing to me. That's
the part that you choose not to let go of.
I refuse to let go of it. You're right. I refuse to let go of it. I just it doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see where we end up here. Tucker Kraft going there at 7-8.
Also, Carolina adding Darren Waller yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that.
I mean, it doesn't do a lot for Darren Waller himself. Obviously, he's viable in these best ball leagues. 40% of his fantasy points came off touchdowns last year. Are we going to ride on that? I do think his signing is interesting for Tet McMillan because I do think it does allow him to kind of maybe potentially move inside a little bit more following the Brazel injury. If you look at Darren Waller last year, he played almost 40% of his snaps actually out wide with the Dolphins. So like he can move around a little bit too and kind of free up where I think him and Tet can both oscillate as power slots with Coker. Like all three guys I think will log slot snaps now. So
it is interesting, but like it is also one of those things where you have another target.
Yeah,
We'll see in an offense that we do expect to be relatively, run heavy with Bryce Young at quarterback. They haven't really wanted to expose Bryce Young to a lot of passing attempts as we've gone through. And so it's another target there possibly for him. I would say, we obviously had, I had some Sanders hope. We've had some Evans hope, right? Like there's been hope for other people there in that tight end room. But I would say that he is probably a more viable target earner than the guys that otherwise would have been there. And that is, I guess, maybe a net negative for me. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's another guy that's probably going to get 40 to 60 targets, that you're just pulling away from the guys that were going to get concentrated. But I do believe that they're viewing him as a wide receiver signing.
Which does make sense. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to keep playing Tommy Tremble, a lot.
And Mitchell Evans. Mitchell Evans is a pretty good, he's a pretty good two-way prospect. Had a productive rookie year, especially as an inline blocker. I think you'll see a lot of him I think we're going to see a lot of him be the primary inline guy this year for them.
We might get Josh Downs anyway.
Yeah, we're like 10 picks away. It's a pretty.
There
you know how this game goes, man.
I should have said his name. That's on me.
Yeah,
the person who got Josh Downs got Godwin and Downs. So playing the smart game there to me. Cortland Sutton there as well. We have had some quarterbacks go since we took Hurts. We've got May, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence has gone. The person at the turn has not taken a quarterback. So, we'll have to see what there are a lot of quarterbacks up still in the ADP, range before Purdy. So I think we can probably push if we want to, if there's somebody
right.
Here
we don't have to
really like at tight end. We've got Pitts, Fannin.
Yeah, I have Fannin as the top player available right now.
Well, let's put a star next to him and hope that he comes back around. Running back, we've got Corum, Gainwell, Monangai, Dobbins. We've got Mason, who obviously talked about Krosky Merritt, who's obviously making the news has been very good for Krosky Merritt, I would say. And then we've got Pierce,
Rachaad White too, right?
Yeah, Rachaad White's there. Pierce, which what the heck's going on?
DraftKings, I like Rachaad White a lot, especially following the Tunsil news. I think that's a pro for Rachaad White too. Like Rachaad White's by far the best pass protector of the guys, even though he's not super fun. I would still have Fannin as the top guy here.
I'll take
I was just walking through the.
Yeah.
You can let the clock run still.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it run.
But yeah, with the Tunsil injury, I think is a pretty big injury for the guys that we're kind of hoping. And I'm not out on JCM or Katron Allen, so I think that the backfield's so ambiguous that those guys get hit. But the Tunsil loss is pretty massive for that team in general with the running game.
What about this whole thing with Jaden Daniels and Ellish? I don't know, man. I like you, Jaden Daniels, but you might need better advice in your life than some of the decisions that you're making. That's all. That's all I'll say.
It's not a super fun pick either, but Michael Pittman is here in this full PPR. He's not a super fun pick, but he's very Chris Godwin adjacent. You wanted to take Chris Godwin last round.
I don't know. I have a lot more faith in the passing game in Tampa than I do over in Pittsburgh. But it's a fair point that you're making. Are we really going to take Brock Purdy ahead of Mahomes, Dart, and Goff?
No. I think we could we won't get Purdy, but I think taking Hurts is fine. Like we don't have to force the stack. I think we're better off still going running back or receiver here.
Yeah. So who do you want to take here? We got Monangai, Dobbins, Mason, Bill, White. We've got Pierce, Pittman, Robinson, Lemon. If we wanted to keep building on Hurts, although I'd rather Wicks, Golden.
Yeah. I mean, I have Pittman as the top guy. I know it's not super fun for you.
Let's do it. Let's hit it.
It's just a very cromulent pick here.
Yeah. Let's hit it. And Purdy still might come back around. Like it's going to be well after.
I don't think he will, but it would be nice. It would be cool.
it's well after his ADP for sure, but obviously we have McCaffrey and Evans. Nobody's drafted Kittle yet, or did he go? No one's drafted Kittle yet. And so like it's possible that people just
I know I looked for, I didn't bring it up, but I didn't put it in the universe, but I was like, oh, what if we just Kittle Purdy? But
yeah.
It felt like too much going down that 49ers road.
I don't know. We could do it next time, maybe.
No, they'll be gone. Can we draft the substation? Is the substation available to be picked?
I'm just saying, like, because of how the importance of stacking or how everybody views stacking, if you do have most of the heavy picks, you can see a quarterback fall well below their ADP, especially in this range where it's more nebulous. Like, what's the real difference between Jared Goff and Brock Purdy and Bo Nix, right? Like, what are we really talking about here? And so I think you can see those ADP slips more in this range for sure. I am interested here, and I don't disagree necessarily with it, but Goff and Dart over Mahomes is interesting still. Which I think, it's not that out of the ADP range, but it is just something, if you're just plugging into the fantasy football season, to know that Mahomes is available. In fact, I built a team yesterday while watching a movie, Warfare, actually, by Alex Arnold, which I hadn't seen. Thumbs up, recommend Warfare for sure. But I was watching a movie and I kind of got distracted and ended up backing into Rashid Rice, who I don't really like, and Patrick Mahomes' team. And so, we'll see what happens with it. But he is still available and out there if you want to stack Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Like, that's very available to you. So, go and have fun, I guess.
Yeah, and then you can do your boy. I gave you a lot of grief for not putting Cyrus Allen on that team.
But you got to put Cyrus Allen on there. You have to draft Cyrus. In fact, I already have Cyrus Allen starred. We will be drafting Cyrus Allen on this team. We also have here, Alex Pierce finally does go. Obviously we're going to see that fall continue with all of the news. But like I said, Bo Nix is now gone as well. There goes Mahomes.
See if they do a Worthy. See if they do a Worthy double tap or a Kelce double tap.
Makes sense. I feel really out on Worthy, man. Like, I guess it could hurt me, but what have we seen from Worthy that makes you think that it's even going to hurt you with, like, I don't know. Maybe he's just been hurt the whole time, but his shoulder's already hurt again. All of this Cyrus Allen news actually feels real whenever you go through the camp news. Like, everything about it just, I feel very, very wary about clicking Xavier Worthy, even as the price falls. I don't know where you fall on it.
I think he's a fine blind pick. These year 3 wide receivers, year 2, year 3 wide receivers, when they're this cheap, I just kind of, remove my priors, my subjective priors, and just objectively say, hey, they're on the right trajectory. Like, these guys are typically guys that beat their ADP. So, like, guys like Golden, Golden's another guy. Like, I didn't love him as a prospect, but you very rarely get first round year 2 wide receivers like this cheap. So it's just like, you just say, hey man, I'm gonna throw it out there and see what happens.
Golden has a lot of Quentin Johnston vibes, which was somebody, and I was making this point last year. Was it last year, 2 years ago with Quentin Johnston? They all run together, but like we're a little bit too out on a former round 1 wide receiver who we think is going to play, right? And I think Golden's going to play. I think he's going to play in 2 wide sets. I don't think Jayden Reed's going to play in them. We'll see what happens with Jayden Reed. We want him to play in those because I think he's really good, but it just doesn't seem like that's the way that they view him. And so I'm really in here on Golden. And I think that he's certainly someone I'm targeting. Purdy's here. We're taking him, right?
I see that. I think we're taking Purdy. Kind of the room is forcing our hand here, so it worked out for us.
But that was the thing I said, is that, we have the guys that you would want to stack him with. And so we see Kyler Murray go ahead of him. We see Tyler
You might as well put this Devon Stribling in the queue now.
Oh, see, now you're speaking my language. We got Stribling and Cyrus Allen in the queue. But let's think about our next pick here before
I would be Rachaad White here.
Let's do it.
I
am happier with Rachaad White here than I am at Underdog for obvious reasons.
Correct. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But
especially as an RB4 in full PPR, we don't ever have to start him willingly. Like, we just get the weeks he does make your lineup.
There went Xavier Worthy. Obviously, I'm going to be a big fan of Isaiah Likely in this spot as well. I don't think we need to push it because we got Fannin.
Yeah.
But this is a part where I'm really heavy targeting Isaiah Likely. I'm a big fan of him here. We also have Nabers right on this team, and we don't have Dart, and so it's not something that you maybe want to push that hard on with this team. But I always just like to make that point of guys that I end up drafting in this area quite a bit.
Yeah, no issues with any of those guys.
I also end up drafting Baker Mayfield in this area quite a bit as well, to go with my Chris Godwin, who I've already drafted, if we're just talking about how our drafts normally go. So we ended up we got Purdy. This is just really, again, it's just that point. If you have the guys, you can kind of sometimes push quarterback. But then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But who cares? Draft another team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just go draft another one, which you can sometimes push. Now we're looking at our team. Our team is got Jalen Hurts at quarterback, got Brock Purdy at quarterback. I assume we're done there.
We're probably done.
At running back, we've got McCaffrey, we've got Josh Jacobs, we've got Jadarian Price, and we've got Rachaad White. At wide receiver, we've got Nabers, we've got DeVonta Smith, we've got Mike Evans, and we've got Pittman Jr. And then at tight end, we've got Fannin Jr. There as well. So obviously, we're going to still be looking to add running back, wide receiver, and tight ends here. Tight end, I guess we'll just have to depend on kind of how everything falls, but this is probably going to be a 3 tight end team, I would think, right? Is that where we're leaning?
Yeah, because we're only 2 quarterbacks. We're going to stop at 2 quarterbacks, so it probably will be a 3 tight end.
Any of those tight ends now that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite tight end at cost, like in this range, is Mark Andrews, and he's still available. Like
every camp report you hear about Mark Andrews, it's like
as a spoiler alert for the tight end, how to draft tight ends, which will be live by the time this goes up.
it's a Rorschach test for what you want to believe, because every report I read is they're targeting Mark Andrews a lot, but he's not doing a lot with it, and you're like, I want my tight end to get a lot of targets and be the number 2 target on my team, which is definitely a path there for Mark Andrews, right? But then we're also like, does he have the knob locks? Does he have, after that playoff game 2 years ago? Like, are we just not going to get Mark Andrews back? There he went, by the way. Mark Andrews just went at the turn, paired with Baker Mayfield there. There we go. Obviously, it's not a stack, just that's who went at the turn. But yeah, he's an interesting player to me. If you look at all the camp reports, I don't really know what to do with Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, he just checks the boxes. When we're waiting at tight end, the 2 things you're looking for is obviously, is he going to be a top target in his offense? He still projects to be that. And, does he have touchdown equity? We want a touchdown hunt when waiting at tight end. Yeah. So he still has that opportunity. He was it's funny because he went both years in the opposite end of the spectrum. You're the one that edits the articles. Last year, he ran so hot the year before on terms of end zone opportunities, and he was our number 1 outlier for regression. And then this year, he went from the top to the very bottom. So he's sometimes it just works out that way.
So we've got Aaron Jones is going, Chris Rodriguez is going. Running back is really thinned out here. I wonder if that's somewhere we want to attack. We will have
We have 4, so we can take our favorite shot guys, just pepper them in as you want. Stribling is up close in my range here. He's my 6th highest player in ranks right now.
Kamara just went. Who's your highest here?
My highest is Tajay Spears. We don't really need.
Yeah.
Then I've got, Juwan Johnson, Stribling.
Stribling went 1 pick before us.
They knew it. They were on us.
So who are we looking at then?
Yeah, I mean, here is where I still have, it's a little pocket of Titans. If you want to take Wicks or push Wicks, I'm fine with that too. But I have Wicks as the 3rd highest receiver. We have Rashid Shaheed in this range. Is he gone? Did I miss him?
No, Shaheed is still here.
I'm good at that, yeah.
All right, we'll try to take Shaheed. Let's see if I can get it in time. Wicks is a little bit later in ADP.
Yeah, I just have him higher. I have him at wide receiver 60. Where are we at right now? I'm trying to think number wise where we're at.
I actually don't know where we are. We're in Naylor, Boston.
Yeah, I have him over those guys. Well, I have Boston 1 spot higher, but
for this build, Wicks would make sense.
We have Hurts.
Wicks would probably be available on our next pick, but not guaranteed to be available. And obviously,
I think we just take him unless you want to do a Jonah Coleman, Jaden Bluth thing.
Jonah Coleman is who is at the top of my list right now.
He's near the top of mine too. That was just looking at names because we can throw darts at running back now. We have 4 guys we're confident are going to have production, so we can take more upside swings at really everything except for maybe wide receiver. But if you want to take Jonah Coleman, I'm fine with that. I have no.
I'm going to just take Jonah Coleman here and just hope
it pushes. Back. Hey, we got Purdy to come through. Maybe we'll get Wicks to come back.
I just think Jonah Coleman makes a little more sense here, and we've starting to see running backs go. Obviously, this is also a part of the board where I would have taken Charbonnet, who went right after us. Charbonnet, obviously, we're not going to take him since we have Jadarian Price. We don't really want to do that, but this is a part of the board where I'm targeting somebody like him as well. Who are some other running backs here in this range that you like? Spears.
I have Ray Davis in this range,
absolutely,
and especially in these best balls. I keep making the arguments. Well, one, there's just multiple ways. One, James Cook had almost 400 touches last year. And he's another. People always tell you the curse of 370. Well, James Cook also, everyone brings up McCaffrey. James Cook also qualifies for that last year. And then in week 17, the Bills play the Miami Dolphins. He could just outright have flex value that week, anyways.
Yeah, we talked about it offline. I do not understand Ray Davis's cost. I do not understand Brian Robinson's cost. And I've also made the point.
I think he's the best handcuff running back there is, because I don't think Pacheco or Brian Robinson get you any type of close to what Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson produce. And there's no 49ers running back that comes close to is going to take over. But Ray Davis occupying the same. We've seen it already. The 2 games that James Cook hasn't played, Ray Davis is outright just smashed.
Yeah. And isn't Ty Johnson dealing with an injury right now? I'm making sure I didn't just make that up. Yeah, he injured his knee. So that also offers up some opportunity there as well.
But he's been one of my favorite picks, especially in these best balls. But even in managed leagues, he's a guy that I have way higher than where he goes usually. Yeah, no,
we're lockstep with him. Another guy in here, Jaden Blue, you mentioned him, who's somebody, especially here, if we're going to get, we're in PPR, how bad Javonte Williams has been as a receiver. Jaden Blue stands out there as well. We're probably not taking him because we got Josh Jacobs, but Marshawn Lloyd is here as well, which is obviously interesting. I do like Brian Robinson. I especially like Brian Robinson.
There goes Marshawn Lloyd.
If you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. If you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, I really like taking Brian Robinson as well. But that's,
right. Yeah. The counter
theory stuff. So lots of options here at running back. We did see Lloyd go there at the turn. Travis Hunter is going here as well at the turn. Travis Hunter is one of those players that I'm just going to throw up my hand and say,
I'm just not scared of Travis Hunter beating me this year. Yeah. They have too much of a need at cornerback on their roster right now, and they obviously run so deep at receiver. He's going to get reps at wide receiver, and you might get a usable week or 2 out of him in a full PPR site, but I'm just not scared of him really beating me.
Yeah, there's just so much he has to fight through to get there. That's really ultimately the problem here. We are running thin on tight ends now with Juwan Johnson gone, Gadsden gone.
I mean, we're going to just throw some guys at the end here.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting names that we throw at tight end. This might be a 4 tight end team.
It could be. It very well could be.
Gunnar Helm is somebody that sticks out to me on these types that we should certainly be talking about. Spears is gone. Pacheco's gone. There goes Juwan Jennings, who is another player that I just am not drafting, and that might be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with him for sure. Tyler Algier is interesting. Tyler Algier went 2 picks after Jonah Coleman. I just don't believe any of the stuff that it's not just going to be a lot of Jeremiah Love. And maybe I'm wrong, but we'll have to see. What about if Pacheco's actually hurt that we get James Conner traded to Detroit? Have you heard that?
I mean, that's the most obvious spot, right? That the Drew Petzing tea leaves, if he was to get cut or traded, that's the spot he would just immediately go to.
We've got Wicks here if we want to take him and maybe even get Blue.
Yeah,
back.
I think we take Wicks. Yeah.
If Blue comes back around, that makes a lot of sense, I think. With kind of where we are. We could also take Ray Davis, or we could try to start hitting the tight ends. The problem is in this range is I don't really want to take Dalton Schultz or
right. I think we can wait still. I think we can still do like a Jaden Blue. I'd be more upside picks.
Yeah,
I do think the more as it pushes on, we are going to end up taking probably 4, unless we Dalton Schultz is cromulent. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
in full
with
PPR.
Well, I say there's nothing wrong with Dalton Schultz. I mean, there are a lot more wide receivers there.
I have Ryan Flournoy as a pick 2. I don't believe is gone.
No, he is not, and we are simpatico. There went Jaden Blue. We do obviously still have Ray Davis here.
Because I think Flournoy he offers, obviously he's locked into. He's gotten better every year, and you get contingency. We saw the games Lamb missed last year.
Do you want to do it?
Big hit. Yeah, I would be in on him at this point.
Oh, is he gone? He might be gone. Oh, no, he's not. I accidentally had just the tight ends picked. All right, here we go. Flournoy. I like that quite a bit. And I also like you mentioned in the article, if you're thinking about, like, if you're in one of those leagues where you get to keep at a certain round or something like that.
Yeah, like around 17, Ryan Flournoy. He's a free agent. Plus, if they let Pickens walk and they decide they can't afford Pickens and he gets a bump for that, he's a guy to monitor in those keeper leagues with these deep end of the draft picks.
I do like in that series you have about how to draft is identifying those guys that, you know, we have uncertainty, like free agent uncertainty around them. I mean, Krosky Merritt and Katron Allen fit into that with Rachaad White, right? And where we don't know where he's going to be. And so I do think that's an interesting thing to target. We are probably looking at tight ends on the way back. I was mentioning some of them, Dulcich, which what's the upside? I kind of was okay with him when he was cheaper, but now maybe not so much. Sadiq, I don't know how much Sadiq is going to play. Have you kind of come to that as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's been hurt. The problem is he's missed a lot of time, and he's already a player that probably is not going to be asked to play in line. But he does. I mean, at this point, like, he's so cheap that you know it's fine. Like, he's good. He has a chance to have like a Harold Fannin run out. Like, there's absolutely an opportunity for him to be like adjacent to what Fannin did last year. There's just more target competition. But the Jets are a team that I think are going to be a really fun DFS team to open the year. The only reason I'm not bullish on them from a managed league stance is them having that week 13 bye, and I just believe Klubnik, they're not going to have enough wins, and Klubnik's going to finish the year, or else I would be more bullish on them in managed leagues. But the Jets remind me, not quite like last year's Arizona Cardinals, but like their defense is awful, and I think they're going to score points. So like they're going to be a fun DFS team.
We disagree about their defense.
Yeah, I think their defense is bad.
It might be. I think what they added to their defense this year was, I think their defense is being underrated a little bit, but also like it doesn't matter maybe if the coaching isn't good. So like, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah. We got Barner here as well left with the tight ends. Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm is going to be my primary target, and hopefully that he comes back around. I don't know how you feel about him.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd be thrilled to have him on this team.
Yeah, it'd be great. We've got Kate Otten, which, you know, we never get excited. Freiermuth is interesting to me, with kind of the lack of, you know, obviously, you know, John is not there anymore. They did pay a lot of money to Washington, but did they pay a lot of money to Washington because they want him to kind of stay in the same role he was already in?
Yeah, he lost like 40 pounds. You saw, and he had it to lose because he's a hunk of muscle.
Yeah, he's a big fella. But I don't know. Freiermuth is someone that's standing out to me that we may be a little bit, obviously Penn State legend, so maybe there's some bias here, but we might be. I don't know.
Yeah. Also on this team, this is probably an Elijah Arroyo team as well.
We're scrolling.
Obviously, Gunnar Helm first.
Scrolling.
Well, I'm just surprised that everyone's so bullish on Terrence Ferguson when there's probably more opportunity for Arroyo.
I don't disagree with you. I just think it's funny when like his ADP right now at DraftKings is 384. His average pick.
I think that's wrong.
But he's 384 in the ranks. But I don't disagree with you at all about it. It's just a funny thing there. Mendoza here going in the 16th round. There we go.
And I saw Ray Davis finally went. Someone finally took him.
We've also got T-Slaw went right after us, where we took Flournoy. Yeah, it's interesting. Jerry Jeudy. We can talk about the names Jerry Jeudy goes after, but I'm going to take Helm over AJ Barner here, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
I'd be fine to double tapping both if we get the opportunity as well.
Take who coming back around?
Barner.
Yeah, we can take Barner coming back around if he's there. So Jeudy went after Calvin Ridley, Cyrus Allen. Too bad we didn't get you, my friend. Patrick Fryatt, Adonai Mitchell, which I support fully. Trey Harris, Tank Dell, again, which I support fully. My one true love from this draft class, Jacoby Lane. Thank you, Jacoby Lane, for showing out in camp. Went after T-Slaw, obviously. Went after we took Flournoy, Cooper Jr., Wicks, Juwan Jennings. I don't disagree with it. I just really think it's interesting, the fall of Jerry Jeudy. But it is interesting kind of where he's ended up.
He's one of those guys that's always going to like project here, like you're adding projectable points to your roster. I just think there will be a point at the season where Boston and Concepcion are just the guys that are running the most routes on the team.
I think if Judy hits for you, it's because he was traded ultimately.
Probably, yes.
I
don't even know if he's yeah, let's do Barner.
Barner over Freiermuth for you?
I would be, yeah, just because I think there's a little more touchdown juice. And we already took Pittman, which feels like kind of a bet
fair enough.
against...
Yeah, fair enough. Good call. Yeah. That's enough. That's enough involvement with that offense. Do have 2 week 11 buys here at tight end, but it is what it is.
I mean, that's fine though. It's okay. We'll probably take one more. Yeah. I'm gonna make you add Eric All to the queue.
Let's do it, because we can't have Arroyo now because we took Barner, so we got to add Eric All to the queue. I'm fine with it. I'm in.
Yeah, Eric All to the queue. I love Damon Claiborne down in this range too.
You don't have to tell me twice. I've taken Claiborne on so many teams. I'm a little worried. He is becoming my Manon guy for this year, in which I'm gonna end up with 30 to 40% of him. So let's hope it works out. Or not if you're really into Jordan Mason and obviously friend of the podcast Aaron Jones. But yeah, I've ended up with quite a bit of him. Resetting our team here at quarterback, we've got Hurts and Purdy, so we're done there. At running back, we've got McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Jadarian Price, Rachaad White, Jonah Coleman. Need a couple more of them for sure. At wide receiver, we've got Nabers, DeVonta Smith, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., Rashid Shaheed, Dontayvion Wicks, and Ryan Flournoy. And then at tight end, we've got Harold Fannin Jr., Gunnar Helm, and AJ Barner. We got 3 picks left. I'm kind of thinking at this point we're looking at 1 tight end and maybe 2 running backs. Is that where we're looking?
I think we have kind of flexibility to, if there's just a player we like at running back or tight end with the extra one, we can go that direction. We're
sitting at 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends right now. Just as an
full PPR, always like you always lean toward just throwing that extra bullet at a wide receiver, but
yeah,
I'm not against if there's a running back that we like outside of Claiborne. I'm also not pushed back on it.
Yeah.
We have Caleb Douglas. Are you buying any of the Caleb Douglas theme here?
I am okay with it now because it does seem like Chris Bell, like that's just not going to happen. Like we had gotten some okay news about Bell, and now it's been lots of not okay news. And so someone's going to catch passes, right? Like I feel like you fall into traps with that whenever you're talking about it.
There goes. How about that?
There you went. When you talk about it in like the 9th round wide receivers, like the Calvin Ridley thing last year, like you can fall into a trap with somebody's going to catch passes. But when you're talking about round, what are we in, 17 or round 18 that we're in, then you're like, yeah, somebody's got to catch passes. It makes some sense. I like Singleton a lot. Obviously, Penn State legend Nicholas Singleton going here as well. Not a lot. Tony Pollard's been good, but Spears gets hurt, and they might be in a transition era for the Titans. So I like Singleton there for sure. Where do you think it coming back around? If he's there, we're taking Claiborne. That's where we are.
100%.
Right. There are some other running backs here that at least are interesting with Emmett Johnson. We don't have Walker, so Emmett Johnson obviously getting a lot of good buzz. He could be somebody you're looking for. Katron Allen would be somebody you'd normally be targeting, but we have Rachaad White, so it's not really. It doesn't really.
Yeah, and I like Katron Allen a lot more on the underdog.
Exactly.
Where you're just trying to touchdown hunt a little bit with him.
And I apologize, Penn State legend.
Oh yeah, you dropped the ball on that one.
I really messed that up. Black is still going here. What's his first name?
Kalen Black.
Why couldn't I remember his first name? Kalen Black. Still going here, which is interesting with the James injury, and we'll see how that all works out. But yeah, Claiborne is certainly the highest on my list of all of the guys who we could talk about here at running back. Any Ollie Gordon love as we get this deep? We have those 2 extra
probably
rounds.
Not. Probably the wrong site again.
Yeah.
We also, ironically, we could take Darren Waller too.
Yeah, why not?
Well, we have Eric All. We're definitely throwing one more tight end dart.
Sure. It's not Njoku. It's not Ingram. It's not Gesicki. It could be Jake Tongas. That's I don't hate that. Since we have Purdy, we've got Waller.
I would still rather take a guy that we're gonna know has got a chance for a little more juice.
Yeah, you don't want to take Stowers.
We could take Stowers. I just he's probably buried. We could though. Stowers is actually probably not a terrible swing here for us.
I think Stowers is buried, and I don't think it's going to happen. But this is the team that at least makes sense.
This would be the team where you would push him.
Yeah. You want to take, because we have so many options here at tight end, many of whom are like.
What's the top of running backs? I kind of lost a little bit of
top of running backs. Emmett Johnson, Holani, Black, Connor, P. Ryan, Eckler, Chubb, James, Knight. I just don't think there's anybody here. Emmanuel Wilson, but I mean we have Price.
Yeah.
The other Etienne, it doesn't make sense. Wide receiver, we've got Mooney, Kirk, Horton, Cowing, Beckham, Smith-Schuster, Ayuk, Cook.
Just take Stowers, and
let's just take Stowers, and we can figure out what we want on the way back, I guess.
Yeah. Let's just do that. I like that. That's fine.
All right, so let's look at kind of what we have here at running back and wide receiver. I mentioned some names there. We got Mooney, we've got Kirk, we've got Tyreek, which I think we're both out on any.
Yeah, I actually removed Tyreek fully from the rankings. He was like wide receiver 88, and I was like, why even have him down here? I just removed him fully.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
Because you're not going to draft him, like he would just be a waiver pickup. So that's why I just removed him from the rankings. Like,
yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. Bateman's gone, Jacoby Lane's gone. Those are guys. I do like that kind of playing on that number 2 wide receiver, because I don't know what Andrew's going to offer us. Playing on that number 2 wide receiver in Baltimore is interesting to me, but they're gone. Jalen Knowles here. Luke McCaffrey's getting a lot of buzz in camp. He's here. Just kind of reading through some of these names.
What about a off the wall pick here? What about Adam Randall?
Adam Randall.
He's getting a little bit of buzz too, and like, hey man, if you're gonna bet on someone to keep trumping father time, I'm gonna bet on the big dog. But like, they're not gonna give Rasheen Ali carries, right? Like, we know Justice Hill's not gonna get him.
Adam Randall. So you're playing the owner wanted this guy. He's gonna be high on the new coaches list. Is that what we're playing?
It's just another one of these upside swings, right? Just luck box. I mean, he's probably not going to be like. What do you think the percentage of leagues that he's even going to be drafted in is?
Oh, it's going to be very low. Yeah, all right.
Or we can do Seth McGowan, who's gotten a bunch of steam because Giddens is hurt. McGowan actually probably is better because we've been,
I would take Emmett Johnson if we're just making wild running back swings. I would take Emmett Johnson over both of those guys, but I also don't dislike taking either. Well, Randall, I'm fine doing it because I do crazy things at the end of the draft, and I took Ashton Doolin at the end of a draft yesterday, so I do crazy things.
I like the Malik Benson swing too. He's been just consistent drumbeat the entire offseason. Like, Malik Benson has come up over and over again.
Yeah, I'm fine with Malik Benson as well.
We also have Pat Bryant down here too. He went.
Yeah, Pat Bryant went. Yeah, Pat Bryant went. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, McGowan, Randall.
Are you out on Johnson? You're not interested?
Not really. Just because I don't think he's gonna I guess you would need a Walker injury as possible for him.
That's the path. Yeah, that's the path for him. But
I'm not against it. I'm not against either.
You need a Taylor injury for McGowan, right? You need a Henry injury for Randall.
You need an injury for all of them.
And Emmett Johnson just went, so it doesn't matter. Our decision has been made for us. So Emmett Johnson is gone. Yeah, we don't really want to play around with the San Francisco backs because we have McCaffrey.
Right.
Like, if McCaffrey gets hurt, it's done anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, why not? Let's have fun.
This is what happens. You get these extra 2 rounds, man. Like, look at someone just got auto picked Ricky Pearsall, I'm guessing.
He was top. He's still top ADP. He was for a while. Ricky Pearsall was. So I got autoed when I was testing out the DraftKings, how it was going to look on this computer. I got autoed Tyreek Hill, which I'm still not okay with, but there we are. Yeah, I think this is going to end up being McGowan, and then we'll do it. These extra 2 rounds, there are 2 things about DraftKings. I like drafting it at DraftKings, right? I don't like that they call it DraftKings and I have to put those 2 words together, but there we go. I like doing drafts over here at DraftKings, but the 30 seconds versus 20 seconds is a big difference. Like, it's wild how big
it lets us kind of talk, like, I talk through picks so often.
Yeah. All right, let's take McGowan. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What a time to be alive. Look, when Allen went right in front of us. Holani went right in front of him. P. Ryan, Jalen Wright, Emmett Johnson. Jalen Wright is interesting. I guess maybe Jalen Wright is the Dolphins back you would be thinking about here. But the buzz for Ollie Gordon has been really positive if we're thinking about training camp buzz. So I guess that's why that was high on my list. All right, recapping the team we got here. Ended up with 2 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 4 tight ends. Started out with Christian McCaffrey. You can read more about why Rich likes Christian McCaffrey at number 3 overall, kind of the theory behind it as part of the draft kit, which again, you get $5 off using kit 5 or $20 off the bundle using bundle 20. I'd recommend head over to sharpfootballanalysis.com. Check that out. Followed that up with Malik Nabers and DeVonta Smith. In the 4th round, ended up with Josh Jacobs. Then we get Mike Evans, Jadarian Price, who is somebody that I'm not drafting a ton of, but here at the end of the 6th round is, that's a good price. That is certainly a fair price for Jadarian Price. Then we got Jalen Hurts, Harold Fannin Jr., Michael Pittman Jr., Brock Purdy, Rachaad White, Rashid Shaheed, Jonah Coleman, Dontayvion Wicks, who's somebody I'm drafting a lot of, especially with Jalen Hurts, Ryan Flournoy, Gunnar Helm, A.J. Barner, Damon Claiborne, another one of our favorite later round guys, and then Stowers to pair with Hurts and finish off that tight end room, and then Seth McGowan in the 20th round when, 20th round could be wild, right? So you end up with some of those interesting picks there for sure. But that's the team we ended up with. Obviously, throw in the comments why we're stupid and what we did wrong, because we definitely did some stuff wrong. But I'm not too mad at this team. Rich, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a very volatile team, but again, it's a large field tournament. Like I like the outright upside of this team. I think there's a lot of touchdown equity to open up. We didn't really force our stacks. We kind of made a plan. It was like, hey, we can get this stack if it comes to us, and then ended up falling up to it perfectly. And then we kind of rounded things out with just like a lot of just blind dart throw guys that our favorite upside picks, because we had the kind of the luxury here where we were never chasing a position really outside of maybe tight end 2, but we just never forced it. It never felt like we had to take a tight end, because we kind of were like, well, we'll just throw a bunch of guys at the back end, which we ended up doing. Again, my favorite, we took Stowers because we had the Hurts, and figure if that was a team, if you're going to take Stowers, you're going to do it on that team. Eric All would have been in my mix there too, for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think just, a solid tip for tat, like what you kind of look to accomplish in one of these large field tournaments.
Yeah, and you can certainly see a path that this team finishes 12th. There's a clear path.
Who cares?
To that, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if it finishes 3rd or 12th, it's the same result. So I don't really actually care very much. But yeah, McCaffrey and Evans are both injury risks on the same team. Nabers is coming back from an injury. DeVonta Smith has missed a lot of time already in training camp. Josh Jacobs has the thing, hanging over his head. But that also leads to you maybe getting some discounts on some of those players. We both have our reservations about Price. Harold Fannin plays for the Browns. That's a major concern. Jalen Hurts is obviously, not coming off his best season. Michael Pittman plays for the Steelers. Lots of concerns here, but you can also make the upside case, especially for Fannin in full PPR, in full PPR.
Oh yeah. And I wrote him up as, more of a target in full PPR and FFPC tight end premium is where you look at. And then that's my argument for Pittman too, is just the full PPR. You're just getting, the word of the draft, cromulent player, just the dude that's going to be able to make your lineup a handful of times.
I like that the search results for cromulent are going to go up because of this podcast. Look for the Google search spike for the word cromulent, because it's certainly going to be there. All right, that's it for us. Like I said, we're going to have more of these. We're going to have one of these every Friday as we go. Again, if something happens between when we record this on Thursday morning and when you see it on Friday or Saturday, sorry, but I can't see the future, unfortunately. I really wish I could.
There are games tonight, so no injuries tonight.
It'd be really good if we didn't have any injuries tonight. Some of the players we drafted, I believe, are playing tonight, so that would be. Yeah.
They don't play tonight, but I saw Joe Brady said the Bills starters are playing on Saturday, and I'm like, what are we doing, man?
Not a fan of that. Let's hard pass on that. But either way, we'll have a lot more of these coming out with Rich and I. So make sure you subscribe wherever you find us, podcast feed, YouTube. If you want to head over, if you listen to the podcast, you want to see the draft board that is available on YouTube, you can go over there and watch that video and see how the draft board turned out. And Rich and I'll be back to talk with you next week.